Good morning, everybody, on this lovely sunshiny Saturday morning. I am working on a new project and might be surprising to people, but I am still planting bulbs. I actually went to one of our local nurseries this week and they had bulbs 75% off. So I got $80 worth of bulbs for $15. Can't beat that. And you know what? If they don't come up, $15, but I do believe they will. So let me show you what I got. So here's the bulbs that I bought. I got these. These are allium chameleons. Just thought they were beautiful. This one is called Tulipa sylvestris, and they're woodland tulips, but they naturalize. Then I got some more, they call them narcissus. I call these daffodils, but they're Mount Hood. So I got, see, these are 5 in a package, so I got 10 of these Mount Hood narcissus. I got 10 of those in each. I got 30 of these woodland tulips, and there's 20, and I got 40 of these allium chameleon. So that's what I'm gonna do today, is plant some more bulbs. And you have all seen my little flower garden that I put in a couple years ago. And I think we did this path extension last year, or this year. And so that's where I'm going to add these alliums. I'm going to add them into this garden, which already has a lot of daffodils and some alliums. And last year I planted tulips. I'm not sure they'll come back up, but we'll see. So it should be beautiful. I just want to show you how small these chameleon allium bulbs are. They aren't your typical large bulbs that you see on most alliums. So while I'm warming my fingers up, I just want to show you from the inside this next project. So this is looking out our dining room window. And let me get to a better view here. You can see we've got this nice juniper that's native. I love this big juniper that's right outside the window. But I say right outside, but actually there's a lot of dirt between that juniper and the window. And it's a perfect place for me to plant some bulbs and other things. So you can see I drew out, or I kind of took a shovel and scraped out my plan. I know it looks a bit like a face. The circles, the big 3 circles that you see, I'm going to plant rosemary, because we have a lot of great weather days here in the high desert where we can open our windows and don't have to, you know, we save on electricity because we don't have to have the air on, we don't have to have the heat on. There's twice a year, there's in the spring and in the fall. And having the breeze blow in that wonderful scent of rosemary, I thought would just be just a lovely thing. So that's my plan. The 3 circles will be rosemary. And then this little area right here between the circles, I'm going to plant some of the bulbs. And then right above the circles, I'm going to plant some bulbs. So that's what I'll do next once I get my fingers all warmed up. Okay, so now we're on to our second project, which, as I showed you, is right outside our dining room window. And so let me get started laying all of this out. So now I've got the appropriate shovel, because this area is very rocky, so I needed a big shovel to do this. And you'll see it's going to be a little difficult to dig in there because of the rocks, and because our temps are so cold. About the top inch of the soil is frozen, but down below that it's not. So just to get through that top is all I need to do. In this spot, I'm going to plant the Mount Hood narcissus. I have 10 of those, and so they will be getting a little more sun than the woodland tulips, and that's why I've moved them, or I've decided to put them in this spot. Daffodils typically need to be planted between 6 and 8 inches deep. This particular brand says they need to be planted 6 inches, so I'm measuring that with using my trowel, because I know where 6 inches is in my trowel. Now I dug a little bit deeper, but that's okay because it kind of loosens the soil up in the hole. So I'm just going to fill back in so that I'm only at 6 inches. After looking at this hole, I've noticed it's not centered on my window, so I'm going to reshape that. Now back to making sure it's the right depth before I start planting. After I finished planting that last bulb, I realized I forgot to put in my bone meal. So I'm just going to sprinkle this lightly over the top of the bulbs before I cover them. The reason I'm scooping up the dirt like this is to make sure there aren't any rocks that I'm going to be putting back on top of the bulbs. I don't want that. As I mentioned, this area is a rocky area, and I'm just feeling through it just to make sure I'm not adding any rocks, big rocks specifically, back into the hole. And one last time, I'm going to smooth out the dirt with my hands and make sure it's pretty level. I have a bucket here of compost, and I tend to do this when I plant bulbs that are not in my flower garden. I spread the compost over the top, and now it serves two purposes. The main reason I do it is to identify where I have planted the bulbs, and that's not just for myself, but also as my husband is working out in the yard, he knows where they're planted, so he knows not to dig in that area. The other thing is compost just adds some good nutrients to the soil, and so that can only help your bulbs. The other thing I do to identify where my bulbs are planted is to surround that area that I just put compost on with rocks. If it rains, the compost can wash downhill a little bit, and so the rocks tend to hold it in a little bit better, but it's just another way to identify where the bulbs are. This area down here where these rocks are is a drainage area for our house. You can see we have a canal up here, and when it rains, it does come out of that canal and down to the ground. So I don't want to plant my rosemary in that area, and that's an area we still need to work on and in getting the rocks laid out so that the water will hit the rocks and then roll down. But I don't want to plant my rosemary near that because rosemary do not like wet feet. Now I'm going to redraw my circles where I'm going to put my rosemary now that I have centered everything on the window. And again, I don't want them to be in the path of the drainage from the canal. Okay, so I've already dug 2 of the holes for the woodland tulips and planted them, and I'm on my last hole now. I had 30 bulbs, so I'm splitting those between the 3 holes. I have 2 smaller ones and 1 larger one in the center. You've seen a lot of my backyard, this side yard of our house. We haven't really done a lot of landscaping. My husband has made more trenches and trimmed up these native junipers that are here so that they can capture water. But we haven't done a whole lot in this particular area, which I don't know why I didn't. I was concentrating on the very front and the back and just had wishes for this but never got to it. But now we should have a beautiful area over here to look out the window at in the spring. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and leave me a comment. And if you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate you doing so. That will definitely help my channel. Thanks, and have a great day.